What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the bar. Dan here with another My Hero Academia video, and today we're digging deep into the aesthetics of the My Hero Academia universe. And from there, we're gonna try to use some of those aesthetics to figure out more about One For All's shadow influence on heroic society. And later in the video, we're gonna focus primarily on the revolutionary hero known as Daigoro Banjo, aka Lariat, the fifth user of One For All, and his influence. So, if you haven't read any of My Hero Academia's manga and you're strictly anime, turn back now as spoilers are coming, but remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and then head on back for all the spoilers and theories that you'd like. So let's get started. Alrighty, so today's video. Like I said during my intro, this video essentially relies on the speculation around One For All as a plot device that's driven to this story's history. Now, what I mean is that we can say with confidence that the quirk itself has influenced society for as long as our characters know. And I have a sinking feeling that the past bearers and their deeds have not gone unnoticed, but the aspect has remained unknown that nobody's ever questioned why every couple of years or so, a random person appears with miraculous powers and in turn saves the country from an unspeakable evil. Like, there's definitely more people that know about the secret of One For All than we know. To say that it's a secret known by less than 10 people is pretty ignorant at this point. This quirk has a rich history. And 9 different bearers? So, people from the past are bound to show up and question/advise Deku. And I originally came up with this idea for a video when I was constructing one of my previous videos about the 4th user of One For All, and halfway through I realized I derailed hard. I was talking about One For All's influence on society as we knew it, so I decided to take this idea, flesh it out to make an entirely different video about it. I mean, there aren't many videos trying to break down All For One's influence on society, is there? This video kind of spawned from me asking myself questions like, why do certain characters dress certain ways? Because in this universe, some characters dress specifically in homage of other characters. We've seen people like Kirishima, Deku, Bakugo make their entire heroic identity in homage to one of their childhood heroes. Like, to be quite honest, I can't really fathom the type of thinking required that Horikoshi uses in his current writing. He fleshes out a backstory and builds a future for his characters simultaneously. I think the one thing that kind of contributes to its brilliance is the fact that Horikoshi gets to write My Hero Academia with a huge amount of freedom. And I guess with, 5 years of consistent success between 2 movies and a spin-off that's about to have its 100th issue, you kind of got to give this guy some credit. Which kind of just brings me to the topic of One For All as a plot device in heroic society for the past, let's say, 150 years. Just thinking about One For All and its influence throughout the years and years of its existence, it kind of makes my TV screen get a little bit fuzzy, but, I kept on thinking about those that held on to this great power. All Might was the superhero, possibly the most famous superhero on planet Earth. The guy took the crime rate of Japan and brought it down to 7% in comparison to some countries who have like a steady crime rate of like 30%. And I mean, if you want to play devil's advocate with that decision, you can say what kind of a hero All Might is if he disregards the whole world. That is, kind of the reason why David's shield flipped and went bad, because All Might left. And also, if All For One was this big bad guy, I am 100% expecting his legion of baddies from across the globe that went into hiding to eventually come back. It's only a matter of time before we find out that Deku's gonna need to leave Japan to fight global threats. We already met one with like Wolfram or whatever his name was, so I'm assuming that's gonna be reserved for the 3rd movie. But when we talk about the influence of past bearers on society, I like to assume the 5th user, Banjo, was this guy to start the revolution. And I really hope that's true. I get this grungy, over-the-top heroic leader feel from him. Also, to claim that people don't remember these people with magnificent abilities is kind of bullshit. The people who obtain One For All change society. It's a power that challenges the status quo. One could say the true definition of the antagonist is One For All because that's the one that desires change the most. Back then, One For All was the request to change the status quo. And what I mean by all of this is that the past users of One For All aren't all obscure characters. Nana, Banjo, they were definitely notable heroes. I mean, take a look at Banjo. Like, look at him aesthetically, his outfit and his quirk. Kind of gives off this rocker, kind of Mad Max revolutionary with his quirk Black Whip. Definitely somebody memorable. Now you'd think, Dan, Who could possibly know about someone like Banjo? He had to have existed well over 100 years ago. So, one day I was on Twitter and a picture of Banjo popped up and I got a really good look at his jacket. Yeah, his jacket. And it just hit me right then and there. There were 3 heroes that we know that have been influenced by Lariat, and they're some of the greatest characters that we've been introduced to. You might be asking, who? First, we'll start with Present Mike. Look at his hero outfit. He's looking like one of those weird motorcycle gangsters, not to mention those metal pauldrons, very reminiscent of somebody's hero attire. Next up, Shirakumo. Yeah, Shirakumo. It's kind of small and insignificant, but Shirakumo's goggles are more or less identical to Banjo's. And lastly, yeah, you saw it coming, Eraserhead 2. And in my opinion, this is one of those things that Horikoshi just sat in front of our faces and hopefully, someone was like, oh look, 1 + 1 is 2. And what I'm getting at is, essentially, Eraserhead has taken Banjo's quirk and turned it into his signature capture tape. I just think that these 2 details are way too reminiscent of one another not to be related. It's just a really strange coincidence, and the thing is, I'm guessing that it just wasn't open knowledge as to what Lariat's quirk was. It was just known that he was just this wild revolutionary. And Aizawa doesn't know the secret of One for All, nor does he probably know the true name of Black Whip. But when you look at these 3, whether it's their aesthetic or their overall fighting kit, it's pretty reminiscent of our boy Banjo's style. So, to think that Banjo didn't have an effect on society with that type of personality, we saw how he acted around Deku when he first activated Black Whip and it was all like, you're doing it all wrong! So it's really only a matter of time before a character with a brain mentions them in the same sentence, and then someone has that Nicolas Cage and National Treasure moment where everything adds up to the number 23 and everyone goes, wait a minute, your quirk is that one, wait! But seriously, thinking that Banjo, or rather Lariat, was an unknown hero? No shot. The influence of One for All in history is probably all over heroic society without anyone probably even knowing it. And Deku has been pretty terrible at hiding his secret. But we'll just chalk it up to the fact that One for All has gotten ridiculously strong. I mean, he's so sick with it that he's bringing out quirks from hundreds of years ago. And Horikoshi has written smart characters to begin with, but the fact is now, in this story, average people and heroes alike are going to start putting 2 and 2 together. And if one person figures out that, hey, those 2 quirks look eerily close to notable heroes from the past, the pot's going to get blown open. So let's not throw it out to question that something fishy might be going on right in front of us. At its core, remember, this is a superhero story, so everything is on the table. Secret societies, people coming back to life, maybe even aliens, who knows? And as for Banjo and his direct effect on heroic society, he's probably the guy that helped usher in the new age, forcing All for One to operate underground. I mean, the time in history had to come when All for One was like, okay, I can't be the dictator of the island of Japan anymore. And once that game ended, luckily, every time he tried to adapt for the future, hope won out in the form of heroes. So yeah, I totally think that it's given to assume some of our favorite heroes know about the past holders of One for All without knowing that they were a successor to being the symbol of peace. Other than that though, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. And I totally think it's possible that Aizawa and them were influenced by Banjo. And if you agree, or if you think I'm an asshole, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Cheers.